to analyze a rigid pavement, we can use this same CanPave, and we start the right side of the screen, and we start with a slabs input, and for the sake of this class, what we are doing is we are using those already filed uh, already filed samples or already solved samples, so that we can have an easy access to it, and obviously you can use for the future reference. So we go that file and we open old file, and when I open old file, since so I'm going to use one of the example in your book. So again, the same purpose is that what we have done previously, that we tend to solve only those examples that are given to us. Let me see, where is 3.1? So even if it is not there, let's try SLA1. We open that file. Now, unlike uh, the flexible pavement, we have different way of calculating stress, and all the options are given. But since we are interested in knowing the warping stress all only, so we say this is without uniform load. We are talking about only with temperature curling, and we are not even taking any concentrated load. So this is how it differs. Now, normally we have they ask us what is the type of foundation: liquid foundation, solid foundation, layer foundation. So we say we treat our foundation as a liquid foundation, that's why 0. Some people may treat as solid, and some people take it as a layer solution. So for the purpose of this class, assume that this is a liquid foundation. And when I say liquid foundation, I mean the foundation to assumed as a series of springs, and whatever the load is being transferred, it is if it is released, the slab came back to its original position. We are not doing any damage analysis. In other words, we are not using not calculating the design error of the pavement. That's why we are taking damage analysis as 0. Number of periods per one, and there is a load group. Remember, load group doesn't mean that it should be an wheel load, but we say this load group 1 because there is a temperature loading, right? Then there are a number of slab layers. We are thinking that this slab is directly rested on the subgrade. No lean concrete. We say they are not bonded. There are a number of slabs. There is one slab. We say there are no joint in it. Node number for convergence, let's be like this. And we say and print, just keep the default values. Now, in this pavement analysis of rigid pavement, we actually divide our slab into number of finite elements, so that you know the process in the computer becomes easy. And how you divide it depends on you. And if you don't do it, you can divide your slab dimension into 5 by 5, maybe 6 by 6, or 7 by 7. So for this example, we have taken 7 number of nodes, and number of nodes on y-axis symmetry is also 7. So the slab on x-axis is divided into 7 panels, and the slabs on y-axis are also divided into a number of same number of points, that's 7. Let's leave what is the rest, and this we say again, we don't have any uniform load, so we say without uniform load. The only load is the temperature, so we say with temperature, and without constraint. So we say okay. Now for the curling, obviously with the curling we are all interested in the events, that is temperature curling, we say 1, number of cycles we say 1, and the difference of temperature we say 20. We always know the coefficient of thermal expansion, that is this default value, and we say maximum deflection is in which is in 1. So whenever when you are using this software for the first time, don't try to change the default much. So that's okay here. Then this slab, there are 4 outputs that we have to know. So we first know what is the arrangement. We say there are 7 nodes in x direction and 7 nodes in y direction. It's okay. X coordinate, this is slab 1. So we say take this value at 0, the first point at 0, then 12, 24, 48, 72, 111, 150. So maximum length is 150, so this will be 150. Now it's up to you how you divide 150. You can have 5 points, 5 node points, so that can be 0, maybe 30, 60, 90, 120, 150, or it may be then we may have 150 divided by, we say okay, we can say maybe I will take it, say 8. So you divide 150 by 8 and take it, well, take it like this. So it's up to you. Not much will differ. So it's up to you how you divide your slab. Some people go for first knowing the radius of stiffness and base their dimension on 1 radius of stiffness, 2 radius of stiffness, 3 radius of stiffness, 4, 5, 6. So it's there. People have different approaches. Nevertheless, the more you divide your slab into portions, the more accurate your result, and the less time computer will take to compute your stresses. You can have 3 points as well, 50, 0, 175, 150, that also help. So whatever you do, you just you have to decide earlier by solving the problem. Next, this is done now. Okay. Then there is a y coordinate. Similarly, for y coordinates, you can go either 12-inch interval or whatever you feel. Then there is a properties. There is a thickness of the slab, that is 8 inches. There is a Poisson ratio of concrete 0.15, and there is a Young modulus. You all will know that it's around 4 millions or 3 million or 3.5 million. It's up to you. And obviously it depends upon the compressive strength of concrete. You say okay, and all of this slab information is being recorded now. Then we go for optional. What are the optionals? We want to know the symmetry of X and Y symmetry. So we say, we say this X 1, 8, 15, 22, 29, 36, 43. So what we do the numbering of the nodes, the points around 7 when we divide slab into 7 by 7. So we'll have actually 49 points, I guess. So we give X will be here 8, 15, 22, 29, 36, 43. Okay. Similarly, Y symmetry will be all start from 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. So it's always we we always start on y-axis. We always go for 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, and then we go from from bottom to vertical, and how this is how you divide your slab. Then it's okay. It's okay then. And then the foundation, you see what is the modulus of subgrade reaction, and NAS is number of additional subgrade. Obviously, you didn't have that input with you, and you assume that all the slab is resting on your subgrade, so you leave it like this. Say okay. So now you have completed all. Exit. Yes. And this has been saved. So as we do in asphalt, we also do it in the concrete. Once we have the data, we run CANSLAB and gets it. So and when it says your text output is stored in this file, you can always be sure your stress has been calculated. So we say okay, and you can now go to the editor. You go to the file, open, and we'll see SL1. So it's open, and this is how you know the stress are being calculated, and at the end you will know your maximum stress x direction is 0, in x direction 237.8, in y direction 0, and there is a minimum stress in y direction is 214, and it is at these nodes. Another feature of this software is you can see what you have input. So this is S graph, and from this S graph I will tell you what I mean, how do you number. Okay. Let me see. So this is once it got printed. So you see, when I was saying node number, I mean what you have done. You had you have a slab of say 150 inch by 72 inches. So you have divided into equal interval. You can divide it like this, and you always number like this. Say 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. So that's why when we were giving the node number 7, then 8, obviously there will be 15, and so on. So it's always, when you give the number and you give the node number, the software takes automatically where are your meshes are. So this can be square meshes, or this can be like this meshes. And your now 7 nodes means 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 in x y direction. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. And this is the blue point where it says there is a maximum stress of 230 8 psi, that is 48 inches from the slab, and it is on the middle of the slab. The section was given to you. So this is what young modulus has been given. This is the concrete slab. That is 8 inches, and below that concrete slab, there is a subgrade that is having a 15,000 psi modulus and a Poisson ratio of 0.4. Another feature of this software, as we go along this, is, let me see. Oh, I'm afraid I have to go back and pay once again. So we were doing slabs input, we were doing old file, and we were doing this SLA1. We'll open it, and when says exit, save, okay, exit, okay, and we can now see the contours in it. So this says contour interval is 0.1 psi. So this is how you can see, draw the contours. Actually, this was unfortunately not available in the slab program. So you can change the percentage as well. 100 psi on x-axis, y-axis.